It's 3 days before the competition, and we've lost both our motors.
The wires just kind of fell out. This is kind of devastating.
The wire fell off, which means we lost movement.
As well as we're currently running into 3D printing issues. Our parts don't seem to be printing well.
It's been pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie.
They seem to be failing around halfway through the print, which is a major issue because we need to get a finalized frame completed for this battle. I heard about this robotics competition through researching for the club, and I stumbled across the Utah Combat Robotics, which just so happened to be holding a competition within the next 3 months. neuROBOTICS is a club I founded in my first year at Newmont College, and it's a club where we all kind of get together and build on engineering concepts and robotics in general. The club was founded by me and Matthew Ramirez.
Before the club was formed, I had no robotics experience. So the idea came about in our first year when we made a simple robot using Java.
We started off with Lego robots, and then it just kind of progressed up into where we're at now, where we're actually competing.
Yeah, so this contest has a ton of different robot divisions. They have the plastic ants, the Beetles, and the plastic Beetles, which is what we're in. So in the plastic Beetle division, we have a hard set weight limit of 3 pounds, and we're not able to use metal on the outside.
Mixel Lake is a community makerspace. Basically, a makerspace is a place where they provide all the tools and necessary equipment to build and create something fun and interesting. And I kind of stumbled upon it while we were looking for places to actually build and expand our robotics club, because working in a small room in the basement of the college isn't really the best place to build robotics. And when I found out about them, I just kind of attended a tour with Matthew and the other club executives, and from there we met Tony, and it kind of progressed into becoming a sponsorship.
They have the wood workshop, the metal workshop, the prototype lab. Primarily we're using the prototype lab for their 3D printers and their soldering iron.
Christian's working on fixing firmware with the electronic speed controllers, which is how we drive our motors. Right now I'm working on soldering the connections to the ESCs and the rest of the board. Abby is currently working on designs and kind of planning for the next steps, and Matthew's helping me with soldering and getting stuff done.
As a student, it's been really challenging trying to balance this project along with my classworks and other projects I've been working on. Recently we worked on it for like 2-3 days straight for, I want to say 6 hours about, and we're making really good progress, but it still takes a big chunk of our schedule.
The main design of the bot is a melty brain. It's a fairly common BattleBot design. The idea is that you use inertia to your benefit, and you spin in a circle and let your opponents come to you. So you pulse the motors at certain times to get it to go in a general direction. We're brand new to this, so we expected that to be easier. It was not easier.
So we decided to name our bot Stack Overspin. The bottom part of the bot kind of would lift the opponent, and then the top half of it with the hammer looking things would hit the opponent. So the idea was we spin fast enough, we kind of fling them in the air for a second, and then we hit them really hard. I'm a little excited but also nervous. I think what we did here is really good.
We're kind of on a bit of a crunch right now. The electronics aren't working properly. We just lost 2 motors that we were trying to build out. Since this is the first time any of us have actually soldered, we ended up messing up a cable, and because of that, destroying motors. So we're a little bit on a time crunch and getting stuff working. Right now the bot's not moving.
So just a few days away from the competition, we're having some issues with the 3D printing and the motors. We've lost both our motors. The wire fell off, which means we lost movement.
As well as we're currently running into 3D printing issues. Our parts don't seem to be printing well. They seem to be failing around halfway through the print, which is a major issue because we need to get a finalized frame completed for this battle. So we just tried to print our chassis for the second time, and it seems that the printer is running a bit too hot. Right now, we're about 3 days out from the competition, so we need to kind of get this done. Christian's gonna come in the early morning and check on the print, and if it fails again, we're gonna restart the print and just hope for the best next time we show up. We were able to drive it a lot better, but right now we're running into an issue where it seems to be way too heavy for our motor mounts and wheels. As of right now, whenever we get up to speed for a spin, we're losing our wheels. They're just falling off, and that's kind of an issue because if we lose our wheels during a battle, we kind of lose everything. With the 3D printing, we managed to finally get a print completed. Christian tweaked some of the settings on the Bamboo Lab printer, and we were able to get it printed and completed. So now we're working on that frame. We were also able to get new motors from marketing. They arrived today and we're gonna install them. We're gonna hot glue the wires into place so what happened before doesn't happen now. With the wheels falling off, we are deciding to kind of hot glue them into place for right now and kind of temporary solution it. We're about 2 days out from the competition, and the robot kind of ran for the first time, which was incredibly awesome to see. We also reread the rules and we saw that we can't have exposed batteries, so we need to print a cover for our robot, which we are kind of banking on being completed tonight.
So the rule is that we can't have an exposed battery, otherwise that immediately disqualifies us, which would kind of put the last few weeks of work down the drain. We need to cover the battery so we don't get immediately disqualified. So we decided to 3D print this big dome.
Right now it's around 8 a.m. We just arrived at Mix Salt Lake to check in our print for our cover. It looks like it printed well, but we're missing some layers, but this should be fine for the competition.
However, we didn't fully think it through as it started affecting the way the bot spins. So it's spinning a lot slower than it should be.
We're a little bit anxious because the bot's still running into issues. Right now, everybody's kind of excited and nervous. I know me and Matt are kind of nervous because we just don't know what to expect once we get there. And we still need to pass safety checks. Safety checks is going to be our next biggest issue, as we've never done a safety check before and we don't know how it's going to go. We don't want something to disqualify us from the match, and our bot's a little bit janky, so we're going to see what happens.
So the safety check is basically just a simple check that we have to do to make sure that the bot is okay to be in the arena. The biggest thing that we for sure covered was the exposed battery. However, something we didn't consider was the failsafe. So we're about to go do our safety check, which is what we need to do to compete to ensure that the bot is up to code with the competition's rules. We forgot to account for something, which was the failsafe, which is when the control loses power, the robot is expected to come to a stop. And because of that, we failed it, which unfortunately means we won't be able to compete in the competition. Not knowing exactly how to solve this problem, we decided to kind of walk around and ask people at the competition for help. And luckily everyone was really nice there, so they just quickly helped us figure it out, and we went back to go do the second safety test. Yeah, and we passed it, so it was really cool. The arena is just a big box that they have there. It has some sort of fortified glass. There's a pit towards the bottom corner, which kind of drops down on the last minute of the battles. So the competition for us in the plastic beetle division, it's double elimination, so we have to be eliminated twice before we're actually out, or until, I guess, the bot stops functioning for our case, because we don't really have any repair parts.
We managed to get an opponent 3 plants in a trench coat. It's a multi-bot design. The way Beetle weight robot leagues work is that you're able to use the entirety of your weight limit on multiple different bots. So they have 3 bots that total up to 3 pounds. This isn't something we really planned to fight. The announcers are getting ready to announce us. We're gonna get set up in the pit. Our general game strategy is try and get up to speed as quick as possible, mainly because with 3 robots, we're gonna have a hard time kind of pinpointing down one to kind of target. So we're gonna hope that they run into us and they get dealt a lot of damage from us. And we're just gonna kind of control the match and wait out the timer. I'm a little bit nervous for the bot, mainly because we spent the last like 3-4 weeks building this. I'm definitely nervous going into this, but I feel like we have a decent shot of winning the match. The battle just started and we were thankfully able to get to the center of the arena to get up to speed, and we just started spinning. We don't see any issues. Right now the zip ties are holding up, that are holding our bot together. If those come off, we kind of get disqualified because of our battery. It will be visible, so I'm really worried about that. However, they seem to be waiting and hesitating to attack us. I know 2 of the bots just kind of rammed towards us. We got decent hits on those guys.
So the bots are coming towards us, and despite their size, they actually are doing a lot of damage to us. So we might be in some trouble.
And one of them managed to wedge our wheels, so right now we're kind of in a bad place. We're kind of stuck by the corner. We want to kind of get out of this situation. Thankfully, I was able to get the bot unstuck in time before we got disqualified for movement penalties.
The movement rule is we can't just stay in one place for too long. We have to move the bot every now and then just to make sure that it's still functional, just to show that it's still functional, as well as so we can't really just spin in one area. We have to constantly move around the arena, so that way our opponents have an opportunity to kind of attack us, or us attack them. They started pushing us towards the corner. We kind of have lost any useful movement, and the pit's about to open up soon. So if we don't get out of this corner, we might lose. So in the last minute of the fight, a pit opens up, and any bot that goes down there is basically eliminated from the battle. And currently we're over the pit.
We were able to get to the other side of the arena. The pit just opened. We're kind of wedged in a very bad position where prime targets to be pushed inside of the pit. Right now, it looks like one of our opponent's bots just flew into the pit. It looks like they're calling time. We'll see what happens. Yes, so it looks like through technicality we won our first battle. Since the opponent's bot fell into the pit before we did, they got disqualified first and therefore we won. However, before they fell into the pit, we actually lost a massive chunk of our bot. We're missing 1/2 of it pretty much. And it looks like our motors are coming loose from the hot glue. So we need to go and make those repairs, as well as we need to zip tie down the bot to make sure that our lid doesn't fly off and get us disqualified. It also looks like one of our wheels is actually out of commission, so it looks like we're going to this next battle without one motor.
So we've done the best we could with what we had. We kind of just stuck the working motor back into the socket and reinforced the top so it wouldn't fall off during this next battle, and we'll see how it goes.
Right now, Abby is driving the bot. We can't really get much places since we're down a wheel. On the left side, we're not able to get up to full speed, and because of that, we kind of got to limp our way to the middle of the arena. Once we get there though, we can kind of full send our right motor and do a pseudo kind of spin. It won't be nearly as powerful, but it's kind of the best thing we have. Our opponent is a lot beefier than our last opponent. They have a vertical drum spinner, which is going to destroy our bot if that actually connects. So we're a little bit nervous about that.
It seems like we have already taken a lot of damage from this bot, and we might not win this one. We've completely lost movement, and they're kind of just shoving us around the arena. So I think we might have lost. A stack overspin kind of just ended up hanging over the pit, not going in it because we couldn't move anymore and we lost all function.
So we lost. We lost this battle pretty bad. However, we did stick it out to the end. We managed to get pretty close to the pit's opening, but by the time the pit opened, our opponent had knocked out our second motor, so we were just unable to move at all. And because of that, he was just kind of messing around and destroying our bot, which was honestly fun to see. We had a blast watching our bot just explode into pieces, and it was really fun. We got to finally compete, and I'm pretty proud with this match.
I learned a lot. I think we all did, really.
We kind of learned to start things a lot earlier. We had around a month to build this robot, but due to complications and busy schedules, we just weren't able to start till around like 2.5 weeks before the actual competition. And because of that, that just put a lot of stress on us. We also learned a lot about electronics, ground voltage, currents. Christian had a lot of fun messing around with the firmware on the ESCs and getting stuff reversed and ready for the competition. Overall, I would say we learned a great deal from this and we definitely want to do it again.
So in my personal future, I think I'd definitely love to continue doing some sort of combat robotics when I have the time and money for it, as it seems like it's something that people are really like open for you to join, as well as they give you like a lot of tips and stuff like that. It's a really friendly community, so I would kind of love to come back to that when I can. For Robotics Club, I think it's in really good hands. Christian and Richard are taking over the club, which I'm really excited that they're doing that. They're both really great people and they're really passionate about what they do.
Personally, I see myself continuing with robotics. It's something I've enjoyed since I was a child, and just being on a computer in general. With this kind of direction in life, I think I'm gonna go a lot of different places in industry. I want to continue doing robots. It's just something I love. I want to build robots that help people and kind of grow the community. And with the club, I hope it kind of continues in the direction I kind of set forth. They don't have to continue doing competitions and stuff like that. They just need to keep on building and being creative with the robots and stuff they build. And with Numa, somebody will always be there that wants to build something with electronics or wants to get into robotics. And I think that it's a pretty promising future for the club.